Opportunity knocks. It's not if it knocks, it's when it knocks.
Hi, this is Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Tall. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you're here with me because I have someone today that's going to eliminate any and all excuses. First of all, let me ask you, how are you feeling? Are you okay? With all the tension that's going on in this country today, we wonder, is there ever any end in sight? Well, life continues to go on, and we have to focus on what's ahead and prepare for it. As we start here in another segment of this program, I've got someone here with me that's going to eliminate every excuse you ever thought of because he's living his dreams. He's very productive, outstanding individual, someone who I have high respect and great regard for. So let me introduce to you, Chris Powell. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a great day here in the state of Oklahoma. And how's the weather down there in Texas?
Oh, it's hot, my friend. We've been in, I think we're coming up around the century mark now. But that's kind of par for the course here in North Texas. It gets pretty hot here in the summer.
Well, I can tell you, it gets hot here in Oklahoma too. And but let me ask you something, Chris. You know, what's everything's going on today in today's time? There's a lot of tension, not just in our country, but around the world. How is it in your region? You know, what's the mold of the environment there in your area right today?
Robert, I think it's just like anywhere you go. We have our spots, we have our times when things are a little bit more flared up than others. But by and large, I think in the Dallas metro area, there's a lot of diversity. So when you see that level of diversity, or when you live in that level of a diverse area, you're going to see a little of everything. You find that there are more people that are understanding. You'll find that a lot of people are empathetic with the mood of the country and the things that are going on. And then you're going to find some that are far right and far left. So I would say that's one of the beauties of being in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, is there is a large amount of diversity, and that creates, I think that kind of gives everybody a corner or a space by which to retreat to.
Well said. That is well said. But let me inform my viewers a little bit about Chris. We go way back to ninth grade at Wasserman High School. We both played basketball together, and we were about the same height during that time as well. I'm currently 6'6" right now. And I knew, Chris, we were doing that time, well, with your afro, I think you had me beat. So let me tell you a little bit about Chris. He attended Grambling State University. And of course, Chris, would you like to expand on that a little bit about your experience at Grambling and what you achieved there?
Sure, Robert. You know, but just going back to our days at Wasserman, it was obvious that you were the better basketball player. You left and went to Oklahoma on a scholarship, and I went to Grambling on a thank you Lordy program. But no, in all seriousness, Grambling, I have nothing but good things to say about Grambling. Grambling offered me 4 more years by which to mature and to become a better person and to become a better man. I think, when I first went down to Grambling, I was just kind of glad to be there. Grambling gave me an opportunity to excel academically. I made the honor roll or the dean's list every semester I attended except for the very first semester. So I learned, I met a lot of people. there, very good people. And we kind of grew up together in that era. And the era that I'm referring to is post-high school, which I think you and I both know is a whole new era for us.
Yes.
You get new friends. I've made lifelong friends from Grambling. I pledged Omega Psi Phi fraternity while at Grambling. Graduated with honors, and you know, leaving Grambling, I was very fortunate that my career took off immediately. In some ways, you might say even before I left Grambling.
But let me ask you something. You know, you made the honors, dean's list, and all of that, you know, and how did you achieve that? Because we have some students also that may be watching this channel and wanting to know what methods, what techniques did you use to have such a, you know, a great GPA?
Well, the first thing, you know, we always want to say is we work hard and we study and we take our academics seriously. I think all of those things apply. But I think what Grambling gave me that was unique from what we came from, and you know that like I know, being the first in your family to go to school, so I didn't have a whole lot to fall back on there. One of the things that I found when I went to Grambling was that there were other kids, there were other people just like me that wanted to do things but just didn't have the opportunity to do it. And when given the opportunity, you start to achieve. And as they say, enthusiasm breeds enthusiasm. So Grambling was a very good platform and learning ground for that, so that you were starting to be around other people that took academics seriously. And so you kind of get into that groove, and it just kind of worked out.
How great that is. Thank you for that information. Now, after Grambling, you know, as far as your employment situation, what direction did you take from there after college? What kind of enlighten us a little bit there?
Okay, right out of school, it's funny, you know, some of the people that really know me from the Grambling days, we had what we call a placement center, and companies would come to the placement center looking to recruit college kids. I was an avid believer in that process. I actually had 7 job offers when I walked across the stage.
Wow.
Which was almost unheard of. And again, Robert, during that time, before I even graduated, I took my first flight, was going to a job interview. And you know, coming from Monroe, that was a lot, you know, and I got a chance to start to see how companies, big corporations work. And I was very fortunate. I came out and I went to work for Hyatt Hotels in a management training program. I worked with Hyatt for the better part of about, almost a year. And then I found myself working for International Harvester Company. And from there, I went on to, I got back into transportation. I say I got back into transportation because I went in, prior to Grambling, even coming up, my dad was a truck driver. So I worked with my dad in the summers and in the off season on a truck. I actually learned how to drive a truck. I actually had a chauffeur's license and was driving a truck, 18-wheeler at that time, you know, in the summers and stuff. So when I got a chance to go to work for Roadway Express in their management training program at the professional level, that was a big, giant step forward for me. So going into the transportation arena, something I liked, something I knew a little something about, it gave me an opportunity to continue that growth. So one might say I started at the ground floor and worked my way up through the professional ranks of transportation.
So no one can make any excuses and think, well, that person was handpicked, someone gave them something. But no, like you said, you started from the ground floor and worked your way up. Now, as far as today, what is your current title right now as to, and expound on that as to what you do there?
Okay, I currently work for Mode Transportation. Mode Transportation is what we call a 3PL, or a third-party logistics operation that's involved in transportation brokerage, be it truck, rail, or air. And it's primarily domestic transportation. And as the manager of compliance, I am responsible for risk management and carry what we call carrier compliance. Briefly, what carrier compliance is, it's sort of a legal aspect of it to ensure that carriers that we employ are fit from a regulatory perspective, meaning they have all of their requirements in terms of licensing, carrier authorities, DOT approvals, and the like. So when carriers don't have that, then that's when I kind of come into play, and we either help them to get qualified or we disqualify them from use. Again, it's all part of our service offering to our customers that say, when you use Mode Transportation as your transportation intermediary, we have vetted those carriers to ensure that they are compliant with all of the regulatory requirements. So that's kind of like at about a 50,000 foot level.
Wow. So basically you're with a major company here.
Yeah, I think we are in the top 50 logistics companies in North America.
Wow. You talked about, when you went and worked in various places, but each one you got into a training program. And for a lot of people out there, they think that when you come straight out of college, you got to just be ready, that like there's no training involved. But of course, from what you just said, you went to the Hyatt Hotel, and then you, of course, mentioned Roadway. And now, of course, with Mode Transportation and a manager. Wow. I'm very proud of you. I have to say that, of course. And, but there are a lot of folks out there wondering, what more is required? What classes? What do I need to study? Can you fill us in a little bit about there so you can prepare the youth and others for the future to come about if they so choose to want to get in such a profession?
Coming out of school, I went to work for Hyatt Hotels in a management training program.
Mm-hmm.
I was with them for almost a year. Then I went to work for Roadway Express in a management training program. And from there, I worked for Sealand Corporation, which was a subsidiary of CSX Railroad. Did a brief stint with FedEx, Frito-Lay, which was part of PepsiCo, where I managed all of the outsourced transportation. And then on to UTI as director of transportation procurement. And I worked at Ready Ice after that as a director of supply chain, and now my current role as manager of transportation compliance for Mode Transportation.
Wow. Wow. We're talking about a roadmap as far as a career, and all great positions. And wow, I'm just dumbfounded right now. I'm so impressed. And thank you for enlightening me on that. And of course, enlightening my viewers as well. I get the feeling that because of the great things that have happened to you career-wise, has there been any, overseas travel involved?
No, I haven't really done a lot of overseas travel. While I at UTI Worldwide as director of transportation procurement, I did work with a lot of my counterparts that were global. And in a lot of instances, a lot of the best practices that we developed, we did train our counterparts in places like South Africa and Europe and in different in the Asian markets on best practices on things to do from a procurement perspective. But it did not require a lot of travel on my part, at least internationally.
Wow. You know, folks, you've heard it right here. You can live your dreams. But of course, you know, education is required as well as continued training of some sort. No one can complain in where they are today in life. It's how bad do you want it? How bad are you? What are you willing to do to achieve it legally? You're a scuba diver.
Yes, I am.
And I know that you tried to get me to scuba dive, and I said, I'm not getting out anywhere where there are sharks. Give me a gigantic pool, yeah, in the tank, I'll get in with you, but not scuba diving. So how long have you been doing that?
Geez, you know, Robert, I started diving in '97, and I probably have close to 1,000 dives under my belt, close to it.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you think about it, since '97, just about every vacation that I've had has involved diving. Okay,
Wow.
Going somewhere to go scuba diving. There's some great destinations when we go diving, and you know, it's you know, you talk about diving and everything. Diving has a lot of similarities to life and to sports, which that you're very familiar with. In that you have to make yourself ready. You have to prepare yourself in terms of training and taking the sport seriously. You know, as you can imagine, it can be very dangerous, but it can also be very rewarding. And again, that's especially true if you prepare yourself and dive with a good group of people.
Let me ask you this. Have you encountered any sharks? I don't know, you know, we're
Yes.
talking about, tell
Yes,
us
I
about
have.
it, please.
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I like to do in diving is take pictures and produce videos. So I have a number of videos that I've actually taken with my GoPro, and a lot of them involve sharks. And I've been I recall doing a shark feed down in Nassau, Bahamas, back in '97. And I've done over the years, I've done a couple, 3 or 4 of those shark feeds, and I've dove in many occasions where sharks were within the immediate vicinity. Okay.
That's something. You know, that's one of the things why I'm afraid to even to go on a cruise, my wife and I, simply because we watch too many shark nature shows. And, you know, I'm thinking about the Titanic. If it goes down, let me be in an airplane, not in a boat. You know, I'm going to shift gears here again and talk about something that can be a little bit sensitive to some.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and it's a little bit sensitive, touchy for me to try to even speak about. And it's about, you know, spinal cord injury. I was looking at some data here from the National Spinal Cord Injury Statistical Center out of Birmingham, Alabama. And it talks about, you know, for 70% of all new spinal cord injury cases are males. And, you know, it says vehicle crashes are currently the leading cause of injury, closely followed by falls. Now, the reason, in case my viewers are wondering, why did I give all that information out to you without further information? And that's because my friend here is a quadriplegic. And it's something that occurred to him. He hadn't always been like this. But as you notice, he scuba dives. He works. He has no excuses. And I can tell you this, he is happy also. Chris, would you care to even talk about that? Or is it too sensitive for you to talk about?
No, Robert, I'm glad we're talking about it, quite honestly. I am a paraplegic. I was injured in an automobile accident. And in that, back in '89. And I'm actually paralyzed from just below the waist down. That injury, Robert, like I said, I was in a car accident. Happened on a Friday evening. I had just flown into Atlanta, gotten off the airplane, and the car accidentally went through the wall and down to the ground, 22 feet down to the ground, nose first. And my back was broken. I went through a intensive 5-6 month rehabilitation where I had to learn how to do everything all over again because it's just a different keystroke. And I was in Atlanta. As a matter of fact, I went through a program at a well-renowned rehab facility there in Atlanta, Shepherd Spinal Center. And at Shepherd, like I said, we learned everything. Learn how to use the chair effectively. Learn how to channel, as to the extent possible, how to channel things so that you can make not only yourself better, but others around you. And then some of that just came back to me from our days growing up, whereby you just say, I got to be the best at whatever I can be, and I'm not going to settle for just anything. You have to make yourself ready. And you'll hear me talk about making yourself ready, probably as we talk throughout this program, because I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in education, be it formal and informal. I saw Shepherd Spinal Center as a formal and informal education on spinal cord injury. And so we take that and we infuse that with just the attitude of doing what it takes to be successful. And this is the result. I recovered from the accident. I was in the hospital for about 3 months, came out and went to work, and I haven't looked back since.
Haven't looked back. I was looking at this right here, and it talks about there are 17,700 new cases per year in the United States of spinal cord injury. And, that's quite a bit, because as we know, when we get in that vehicle or wherever we may be, we can't foresee what might come. And, people are being injured all the time and paralyzed. But when I see you and talk to you, and the spirit that you have is so positive, it makes me, there's no excuses for wherever you are in life. And there are people right today that may be going through in the early stages of such an injury. And all they have to do is just look to you, someone like you, and let them know, hey, life still goes on. And you've shown that, and you've done that. And I love you for that, Chris. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Now, as we're about to close here, and for those people, as far as the theme of my channel, what inspiration, what departing words, what can you provide for my guests some substance that they can just grab hold to and move forward in their lives?
I think the thing that I would want to convey, Robert, is the value of education and the value of confidence and making the best out of every situation that we're involved in. Because just how we talk about the accident, like you said, you don't see it coming because you don't know when these things are going to occur. And if you didn't do the things education-wise, and again, I keep harping on formal and informal. If you don't take advantage of those situations and those opportunities, you're not going to be ready when you need them the most. Because opportunity knocks. It's not if it knocks, it's when it knocks. But you have to be ready to open the door to receive that opportunity. And that's what education, both formal and informal, is all about in my world. It's being ready. It's making yourself ready so that when it does come about, you can reach for it and you can take advantage of it.
Wow, great. Thank you very much for that. Formal and informal education. Because as he said, education, correction, opportunity will knock. Well, will you be ready for it for when it does knock? I recall one of my heroes of motivational, inspirational speaking, Les Brown. And I was in the elevator one day last year in 2019, and I had a young man was in there asking me, why was I dressed such a way? Well, I told him, according to what Les Brown has said, because I have plenty of his material. And he said, it's best to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Because opportunity will be knocking, but will you be prepared? Folks, I want you to take heart here as to what Chris Powell has said. He's given you something I think that you can take with you. You can take it to the bank. You can prepare yourself, get ready, be understanding that there's going to be additional training along the way that you can get ahead in life. You do not have to remain where you are. Whatever state of mind, or whether it's mental or physical, it doesn't matter. You can still rise up and overcome and achieve whatever your dreams or your desires are. It's within all of us. There are no real free passes, guys. You have to go for it. And like in his case, he had 6 opportunities coming straight out of college. And as we know, that's not the norm, but that's a testament to this particular man. Now, if you like the content that's being shared here with you on this channel, please hit the like button and also subscribe, because it's all about bringing you substance, something of value, something that can help take you to that next level. And because we all want to grow, we all want to do a little bit more, be a little bit more happier, and we all want to achieve something in life, leave a legacy of something. Don't just be a statistic of would have, could have, but he didn't or she didn't. You can. None of us have any more excuses. Chris Powell is a prime example of that. And I'm glad to know such a man as he. A man of high morals, a man of high character, a man that knows what he wants in life. And nothing has stopped him. Nothing. Chris, final words to you.
First of all, I'll say thank you for this opportunity. I am a big fan of your works and what you're trying to do here. So if there's anything that I can do in the future to help, all you have to do is just reach out, and I'll be more than happy to be there for you, Robert.
Thank you, Chris. And I'm glad to have someone like you that I know I can call on. And thank you. And my guests, stay tuned for next week. Thank you.